Bitch. I love it. Whatever I say in the beginning, I really just want to catch you off guard. That's the goal.
Every time, I think. We're on video this time.
We're on video.
Look at.
And so you guys can see executive producer Chloe.
Like she's like obscured a little bit.
She's down
there.
there.
We go.
Let me.
Oh.
There she is.
Oh, now she's obscured even more.
Oh no! Anyway, she's my teeny tiny little baby puppy.
We love her.
And by teeny tiny little baby puppy, I mean she is 9 years old.
She's 50 years old.
And she is full grown. She's 12 pounds. But you guys finally get to see her, which is very exciting. Kind of.
Yes. It's very exciting. Anyways, who are we?
Right. Of course.
I distracted us. This is on me.
This is Bitches. You're listening to...
This is Bitch.
Just like a weirdly high-pitched sound for like an hour. Otherwise known as Who's Funding This Podcast? And I'm Maddie Bird.
I am Doug Terranova, and I think that we're on the ropes right now because just previous to this, we tried Avril Lavigne's favorite drink, vodka and champagne.
Yes. Please go to our TikTok.
Please watch it on TikTok.
You can find us Who's Funding This Podcast on TikTok.
I feel like I have to not look at the camera, but it's all I want to do right now.
It's just like right there.
Just look at the camera.
Luckily, it's at an angle. Just in case you guys were curious, that's actually Doug's face the entire time that we recorded. You guys are in for a
all
treat.
The time.
Do you remember watching Grey's Anatomy? Did you ever watch that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is a crazy question. But do you remember the episode where there was a guy who was dying, and so he and his wife... Are you laughing at me because that's every episode?
Yeah, I do remember.
Okay, but he was a guy, he's dying, and he and his wife then blow their life savings because he has like a really nice like plan. So like when he dies, she'll be taken care of. Oh, and then it turns out that he's not dying. Okay, yeah. I do not know the name of the guy who is the actor, but his eyebrows are like this.
Yes. So that episode is so funny to me because just in a very nihilistic way, whenever they like get so upset when it turns out he's not dying. And I'm like, I get it.
Totally agree.
Should I drink straight from this bottle?
I think so. I mean, probably. I have my glass. Cheers. I did not drink the full vodka and champagne because my wife chugged it, and we didn't get it on camera because we're bad at our jobs.
And she chugged it because of peer pressure.
That's true.
I won't say who the peer was.
Doug is not good to have around if you want to make good choices.
I'm just not good to have around. Yeah, no, I'm such an enabler, I feel like.
Yeah.
Speaking of enabling, it's Pride Month.
It's Pride Month.
Hey, Zuko. Oh.
I told you he would. I told you he would chirp on cue. Zuko, come here.
Come here. Will you chirp right into my camera? Microphone. Hi. Chirp. Come here. No, God.
Okay, well, that kind of counts. Now he's going to hiss and run away.
Yeah, we're doing good. But yeah, no, so it's Pride Month.
It's Pride Month.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, the conspiracy theories that we have today are a little gay.
Oh. I do love a gay conspiracy theory. Can I tell you before we get into the conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
I messaged you a little about it, but I had a show.
Yes.
June 2nd.
Yes.
Second day of Pride Month.
Correct.
Probably the straightest crowd I have ever performed for.
I love it.
And it was so wild. So first of all, this was a show where I was asked last minute. I assumed that I had to fill in for somebody.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, can you be here at this venue tonight at 6? And the venue itself is not one that, like, I would ever go to because it's very boomer motorcycle kind of place.
Yeah.
I feel like. But the lineup
I would go to that.
was... you would. the lineup was all queer comedians, all people we know, all people that we've worked with, very funny comedians.
Yeah.
And so I was like, cool, we're doing a queer comedy night there. One, I get there, and so like there's like the main venue, and then we are in a smaller room in the back.
Oh, interesting.
And in the main
Would
venue...
you say it was like a closet?
Maybe that's why everybody's upset. The main venue, they were having Grunge Fest.
Right.
Except, when you think of grunge, what do you think of?
The 90s?
The 90s, you think of, like...
I think of Avril Lavigne, honestly. Which she's not necessarily grunge, but she does come to mind.
Yeah, but like Kurt Cobain, very chill. This was like boomers, like... Boomers. Just boomers.
Just boomers.
Just boomers.
Was it boomers?
It was boomers. It was boomers. Anyway, so I walked through that and I was like, well, that's not going to be great. And also, like, the guy at the door was like, hey, I'm one of the comedians for the show. And some drunk dude that was right by there was like, oh, you're a comedian? Tell me a joke. And
no.
No. Here's the thing. Like, don't do that.
It's such boomer.
Boomer?
It's such boomer humor. It's the equivalent of when the waitress or waiter comes to your table and says, did you like it? And your plate is clean and you go, oh no, I hated it. Obviously.
Like, I don't have an answer to that. Tell me a joke. You. Like, I don't know. But so then I get there and like, it was I will say this, a sold out show.
Love it.
Do love that because I get paid either way. But like every guy that was in the audience looked like a fucking undercover cop at a music festival. Like I was waiting for one of them to be like, "Hey, do you know where I can buy some MDMA?" Like that's
Do they card at this bar?
Yeah, I was like, okay, they're filing in, and all of us little queer weirdos are like in the corner looking at them, being like, it's probably fine. It's we don't like to judge a book by its cover. We don't like to judge an audience just by how they look. So I was the first person to go on after the host.
Yeah.
Who was the only straight person.
Gotcha.
And they were not into it.
Like, just not into the gay at all?
The gay. And so, like, I started, I like to start my sets most of the time. Like, where are my queer people at?
Yeah.
One person
Happy
went,
Pride!
and I was like, cool. And then I was like, okay, there are no queer people. Are there any allies? Silence.
Are you fucking serious?
Fucking dead silence. And I was like, well, that's my time.
Yeah, I was literally about to be like, what do you do then? We've
like,
never experienced that.
I was like, you guys are going to have a bad time. So I still did like my gay jokes, my non-binary jokes. And about halfway through my set, I was like, my only goal is to make these people as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
Which I did. But yeah, everybody, like I said, all very funny comedians that I know they're funny, you know they're funny.
Yeah.
They hit all the time. One of them, I joke, she's going to have a Netflix special in the next 3 years. Like,
right.
She's hilarious, but they were not into it. So that was, I was like, this is homophobic. Like,
I can't believe you guys.
This is June 2nd. But yeah, so and that's, you bought tickets to go to a comedy show. They maybe didn't understand the lineup.
Maybe.
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so I was like, this is an interesting start to Pride.
It's just so, and it's 2024.
Also, oh my god, so we'll do this. We're going to talk about one more thing, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about conspiracy theories. The night before, I went to the Kansas City Comedy Club. To see Margaret Cho. You know Margaret Cho?
Yes, I wanted to go to her show, but then my stupid wife got poison ivy on her head.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid head with a stupid poison ivy. How? It's not important. How?
Because of a hat. So if you have poison ivy, and then you like scratch your head or touch your hat, or like we think like a branch or something got in the hat, and then she wore that hat 2 days in a row.
Oh.
So then Saturday, truly whole head swollen.
I'm really trying not to scratch my scalp right now. Just thinking
about it, right?
So went to Margaret Cho. I was with my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and it was packed. So like, have you been to Kansas City Comedy Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, rows of tables. And so we're like really close to people. So first of all, we sit down and this dude, again, undercover cop vibes. Like,
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like.
These are the only people who go to comedy shows.
Reached over and like, it was like, hey, I'm Travis. And like, put out his fist. And I was like, please don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But his table talked the entire fucking show.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Like, I don't think they know who Margaret Cho was because his girlfriend, wife, mistress, something, sister, I don't know, whoever's sitting next to
All
him.
of the above.
Yeah, maybe. Every time that Margaret Cho jokes almost explicitly about her vagina. Mm-hmm. Like, she will talk about, she had this whole, like, probably 10 minutes of her set was about her vagina being fat.
Would you call it like a vagina monologue?
I would. But every time she made jokes about her vagina or anything that was like, I don't know, like salacious, this girl would go, oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. And so finally I was like, oh, wow. And I thought I was going to start, that was June 1st. And I was like, am I going to start off Pride Month getting beat up by a straight man?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a midway through Pride Month thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I can have my Pride Month cred.
Like when we're in glitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I need my cred, my street cred. I need to get beat up by a homophobe.
Yeah.
Or beat up a homophobe, really.
Yeah.
Actually,
that would be
out
ideal.
of the two, I would rather do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I plan on wearing my cowboy boots to Pride.
That's a good idea.
Which is, good kicking shoes.
They're good kicking shoes. Yeah, no, that's a good choice. Listen, I think I've come around on the cowboy boots. I don't know.
We've taken a moment to digest.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because I would never wear them.
Yeah.
But they just feel so right for you.
Don't they, though?
Yeah.
And I want to wear them, I really want to wear them with shorts. I want it to be so terrible it's good. Like,
Yes.
that's what I want from them.
Yes.
You know? So I'm very excited.
Yes. Yeah.
For what I can do with Pride.
Anyway,
so you obviously did not get into an altercation with this group.
no, but I was loudly complaining about them in the parking lot, and in the back of my mind, I was like, they're probably right behind us, and they were.
Right, of course. Hey, you gave them something to talk about on the way home.
You know what? I hope they had a good drive back to Lee's Summit. Like, that's...
Just them being like, I cannot believe that she talked about her vagina for so long. And then that person who was mad at us? What the fuck?
There's also... So they were on one side of me, and then on the other side, there was this lady who kept, like, turned to look at them, and be like...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's just like... I don't know. If like a comedian like Margaret Cho, like I get it. If you buy like a local comedian show, you honestly are probably not going to know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. But Margaret Cho has been a famous comedian for years.
I think the tickets were like $20 too. So you're paying $20 to sit and talk through someone's show.
Yeah.
Anyway,
comedy etiquette, comedy show fun.
Listen, if you're at a comedy show, don't talk during, like, be there for the comedy show. Like, my suggestion is if you really want to socialize with your group that you're going, go out to dinner before, go out to drinks after, so that way the comedy show, you can shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And I like the idea of talking in a, like, when the comedian sparks something in you that's like, oh my god, I've experienced that before. Yeah. Excellent.
But if it's just like conversation.
Yeah, then if you're just going to sit while somebody else is actively performing while you chit-chat, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
Somebody's talking over you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, and I wish I was the type of person that could just ignore that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, they were also right next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just get angry, and then that's what I focus on.
Well, speaking of you being angry,
yes,
you have mentioned Dan Brown in almost every episode of this podcast.
Okay, I was going to say several, but I think, this is... Did you know this is episode 15, by the way?
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, okay, go on.
End of podcast.
Yep.
So you have mentioned Dan Brown.
Yes.
And I truly want to say... I want somebody to fact check me, but I want to say almost all episodes of this conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah, most of them, for sure.
And
It's very
Dan,
applicable.
yes, and I am starting us on to part 2 of our art conspiracy theories,
Right.
which is, for the most part, a dedicated episode
Okay.
on Leonardo da Vinci.
Ooh. Okay, real quick, I want you to do something. Move your pop filter just like 2 inches to your right. I'm sorry, left. That's, yeah, and maybe a couple inches more. Just the filter itself. That's perfect.
Like this?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I didn't want your whole face to be covered.
What if I wanted my whole face to be covered?
Sorry. Like, what's his name on Home Improvement? Did you ever watch Home Improvement? The neighbor always had his face covered.
The one with Tim Allen? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched that.
Okay.
Yeah. It sucks that he sucks now.
Yeah, I guess he probably always did.
Yeah.
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 Anyways.
Anyway, so you've always talked about Dan Brown.
Yes.
And we are now on episode 2 of our art conspiracy theories.
Yes.
And it has to be said that there are a great number of conspiracy theories about Leonardo da Vinci.
Really?
Yes. And Dan Brown's books, as we have learned with our last episode, authors can sometimes pull conspiracy theories like into the zeitgeist, right? And so Dan Brown has, in fact, caused a lot of people to take another look at the Last Supper.
Oh.
And whether or not there is, in fact, a hidden message.
Ooh, okay.
So that's one of the conspiracy theories that we will get to today.
Okay, that's exciting.
But I bring that up because we always ask each other, do you have, like, any kind of relationship
Everybody already knows the answer to this.
relationship with the conspiracy theory? And if I say Leonardo da Vinci, you would say...
Yeah, Dan Brown. Yeah. I would say that I've heard the same story 4 times over. One of them include Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, in the Da Vinci Code, which I believe that was Dan Brown's first.
No, so, okay. The first book in the Robert Langdon series was actually Angels and Demons.
Oh, right,
But
of course.
Da Vinci Code was far more popular because of the scandal that kind of went around the idea that Jesus was married and had a child, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Because if he wasn't a virgin...
Then, like, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah, I think that my conspiracy theory is that Jesus was really into orgies and fathered many children, like Zeus.
So I go back and forth on what I think of Jesus' sexuality.
He had 12 men following him around.
He had 12 men following him around.
Dude was a bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a power bottom.
Power bottom.
Power
obviously.
bottom, for sure.
The power of Christ, bottom. The power bottom of Christ.
And it compels you to come. You know what I mean? So actually, I would like to continue this conversation before we move into any conspiracy theories.
I'm sorry to anybody who is a Christian that listens to this, I guess.
Because,
go on.
Okay. So here's the thing. I wasn't actually really thinking about Jesus' sexuality. I don't, on my day-to-day.
Oh, I do.
Just all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also grew up, obviously, way more involved in the church than I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that it, at this point, is I feel like it's pretty common, for people to believe that Jesus was definitely a little twink who...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And hot, too. Listen, if there's a thing that we know about Jesus from every painting, every wooden crucifix...
Yeah.
Hot.
Okay, also, I do have to point out that this is not the conspiracy part of the podcast. This is just facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, more evidence that he's a bottom. He... I'm sorry. He really liked to get nailed.
That's funny. That is particularly funny. So, I think that power bottom who's a twink, right? Like, because he didn't eat for a long time, so he's pretty thin. And in the last episode, we did mention Goya. Goya, who often painted in he was very stylized in that he would elongate the body.
Yeah.
And so Jesus in all of Goya's paintings was even longer, even leaner, even twinkier, is what I am saying.
And if you were to ask me what type of person would be able to start a whole religion off of them,
yeah,
a twink.
How did you survive being a homosexual at the time of Jesus Christ? Start a religion.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of you know what? I don't like that joke. Never mind.
Okay. We all get those. I think just a couple episodes ago, I had to completely stop myself from what was going to be a very funny conversion therapy joke.
So speaking of conversion therapy,
good.
Let's actually we're going to jump now into conspiracy theory. So we're leaving the factual realm of Jesus is a bottom.
Okay.
And we are going to jump in. I am going to pivot us. So because we haven't actually started yet, we're going to move a little bit away from the Last Supper because it's not the most interesting conspiracy theory that I have.
Okay.
The most interesting conspiracy theory that I have there's several, and they're about the Mona Lisa.
Oh, okay.
So what do you know of the Mona Lisa?
I mean, Leonardo da Vinci painted it. It's smaller in person than you would think it is. The whole Mona Lisa smile thing. I'm going to be... Okay, hot take.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Hotter take? Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I don't understand... I say it's fine. I can't even do, fucking stick figures, but, I don't understand what's so special about it.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So... Similar to you, even in the research that I did looking into this episode, I don't really understand where the Mona Lisa smile theories and controversy started, and I would absolutely love it for anybody who is more well versed in art history to let me know, because I would love to learn. But to be completely honest with you, it's a bust, it's a portrait, and I don't get why it matters whether or not she is smiling or not.
Those same people well versed in art history don't bother with me. I don't.
I want to know.
Yeah, tell Maddie, and Maddie can summarize it for me. Just
specifically say in the subject line of your email, because I will continue to push our fucking email.
Who's funding this podcast at gmail.com?
Who's funding this podcast at gmail.com? I don't care if you call me a boomer. Just put in the tagline for Maddie Bird only. Or put for Doug Terranova only.
And then I'll be like, no.
Use that reverse psychology. And then if anybody else would like to just send us another email that has Jesus was definitely a top.
Oh, if you want to give us your theories on why Jesus was a top.
Yeah. Now that's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Because that's a bottom if I've ever seen a bottom.
I'm saying. Also, Judas, top.
Judas was a top.
Judas was a top.
But kind of a toxic top.
Toxic top.
But who's to say that Jesus wasn't actually toxic? You know what I mean?
Well, I think that it's more likely maybe they were just toxic to each other. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
All Jesus did was inspire a religion that has killed millions of people, if not billions.
Yeah. But I don't think he meant for that to happen. Who knows?
Yeah, he did say
he kind of was don't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then people are like, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. What you're saying is, do that.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened was Jesus said, I'm going to live my life and preach the gospel of the mercy of God and have a bunch of men follow me around. And now, a gabillion years later, lots of people were like, remember Jesus?
Yeah.
He said there should be no gay people.
Here's my question. Are we off the rails if we were never on the rails to begin with?
We should maybe get on the rails. So we're talking about the Mona Lisa.
Gotcha.
Who could also be Jesus. I'm going to throw that out there.
Oh. Yeah.
This is not a conspiracy theory, but now that we're talking about it, it's really feeling like it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Could be Jesus.
Could be Jesus. So the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci in 1503.
Okay.
And it is one of, if not the most famous paintings of all time.
It might be.
And it's largely in part because of this controversy. Is she smiling? Is she sad? Who is she? And why?
Yeah.
And so part of the, like, intrigue that surrounds the Mona Lisa is that in the latter half of Da Vinci's life, he did actually carry around the painting with him.
What?
Pretty consistently. So, you know how you have your bag? Yeah. Basically just in his bag
like
all the time.
It's like a security blanket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, one of the reasons why why conspiracy theorists believe that Leonardo da Vinci would carry it around with him is, and this theory was posited by none other than Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud.
Sigmund Freud. That's totally unrelated to Sigmund Freud.
Right. Sigmund
Freud was a grocer. He saved up his whole life to own his own business.
Yep.
Mm.
I'm gonna say that maybe drinking vodka mixed with champagne makes doing this harder.
Yeah, it's definitely doing this on hard mode. That's all right.
I'm gonna go ahead and drink some more.
You should probably just drink a lot.
If the more I drink, the easier it'll get.
We'll just do another.
Just a cheers.
Clink.
So, Sigmund Freud, who is well known for having what I like to call absolutely batshit insane ideas about things.
Truly. Okay, thank you. Yes.
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 Theorized, and I'm sure that I'm going to say it, and then you're going to be like, I could have guessed that that's what you were going to say. Theorized that Da Vinci was actually in love with his mother.
Oh. Listen.
I love that we're on camera so people can see your eye roll.
The man's a one-trick pony. Truly.
Literally, though. So, theorized that Da Vinci was actually in love with his mother, and Da Vinci was actually taken away from his mother at an early age, which caused developmental trauma, basically. Mm-hmm. And so to reconcile that, Da Vinci would paint his lasting memories of his mother into his paintings, i.e. the smile.
I mean, I guess.
Right?
I guess.
And so he calls it a recovered memory of his mother's smile. And where this theory holds some water is that there are other paintings in Da Vinci's portfolio that do have the same smile. That and Da Vinci has been not quoted, like there aren't quotes, but like there is compelling evidence to suggest that he did have a fondness or a positive view of his mother, although I could not find anything that suggested that he was in love with his mother.
I mean, most of us, certainly not all of us, but most of us have a fond view of our mothers.
I would say so, right?
I have a fond view of my mother sometimes, and most time.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not in love with her.
So you have a fond view of your mother.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm not gonna. So for several reasons, gonna paint her smile onto other women.
I would like to know all of the reasons.
1, I can't.
Okay.
I'm not a painter.
Fair enough.
2, I don't know if I can remember offhand what it looks like. Her smile.
Okay. That was my next question, actually.
Yeah. And 3, I think painting your mother's smile onto pictures of other women is something you do if you are in fact a serial killer. Okay,
so I kind of thought the same thing, but believe it or not, I found no conspiracy theories that suggested that Leonardo da Vinci is a serial killer, which you would think, given the last episode,
yeah,
that there would be something.
Yeah.
Apparently no. Apparently not.
Jack the Ripper was the world's first serial killer.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Duh.
Duh.
You know, not Leonardo da Vinci and its mom.
Very, Psycho, what's his name? Something Bates. But yeah, the guy from Psycho.
The guy from Psycho.
Yeah.
Who, the Bates Motel.
Anthony Bates, Andrew Bates.
Jackson Bates.
Jim Bates.
Harold Bates.
Master Bates.
Okay. So I actually want to kind of stop us here because we've gone off the rails, onto the rails, off the rails, back onto the rails. So on the rails, because I truly do not have any other evidence to give to you, other than the Mona Lisa smile is on other paintings. Do you believe, scale 1 to 10, that is because Leonardo da Vinci was secretly in love with his mother?
So that's the conspiracy theory. So Sigmund Freud, or Freud, as some say.
Some could.
Some could say.
Very smart people might say, actually.
Yeah, that Sigmund Freud, the man who is known for saying everybody is in love with their mother, said Leonardo da Vinci was in love with his mother.
That's true.
And that's why this smile, the same smile that can be seen on the Mona Lisa and various other things, is present, because it's his mother's smile.
And he carried their painting around with him everywhere he went.
And he carried the painting around with him wherever he went. So here's the thing. I don't believe it. My rating's pretty low.
Okay.
It can't be 0, because I guess it's plausible. And also, like, him carrying the Mona Lisa around everywhere isn't that weird to me. Creative people are very eccentric, especially at that level. He was so creative, he was so smart, he was so innovative. He's probably really weird. Yeah. He's just a weird dude. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. So I guess I'm going to say 1 out of 10, because, I assume he had a mother. And so it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both Sigmund Freud and Sigmund Freud were individuals who existed. So.
Yes. Yeah, both of them. And then both of them actually agreed on this. Yeah. They met at Sigmund Freud's groceries.
And fucked each other's moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In front of the other one. They got weird. They got real weird.
This is the rest of the episode.
Sigmund Freud is Sigmund Freud's stepdad. Right. The grocer.
And vice versa as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So all his stepdad and stepson. That's what I thought. That's what I was remembering in my intro to psych class. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that this was Da Vinci's end goal. Like, this was the this is the message. This is the message that's in The Last Supper.
Sigmund Freud and Sigmund Freud are each other's stepdads and stepsons, respectively.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That 10 out of 10 on that one.
Right. 100%. Yeah. So I honestly, for this one, I'm going to even go down to like 0.5 out of 10. Yeah. Because I agree with you.
I forget that we can do that. There are no rules.
There are no rules.
Yeah.
You could say 0.27.
Yeah, I would say 0.5 out of 10 feels correct.
I'm going to say 0.27 just because I want to be obnoxious.
Okay, good.
And the 0.27 is so above 0 because he did in fact have a mom. Sure. And that's really where it begins and ends with me.
At a certain point, like when Sigmund Freud was popular, and I get that he was inventing like psychoanalysis or whatever, was nobody like, dude, we fucking get it.
That you are in love with your mom.
Yeah, you're in love with your mom, and you are projecting that onto everyone else.
Yeah. But I don't know that projecting, like,
maybe the verbiage wasn't there, right. But, like, hey, we don't want to fuck our mom, but we think maybe you want to fuck...
It feels like you want to fuck
your mom. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it would be, like, equivalent to how... If you were to say, like, if a man were to have, like, 12 apostles follow him around all the time, just bear with me, that it's possible that they were all fucking. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like we know you want to fuck this man.
Also, according to all the artwork, like, those were, like, older men. Mm-hmm. This is very bottom twink behavior. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, go to fucking... any gay bar at like 1 a.m. Mm-hmm. We did this recently.
We did. I fell over.
You fell over?
It was me this time. You know why I fell over? Because karma.
Karma's a bitch.
I should have known
I'll be honest. That song's a bop.
It is kind of a bop.
I love it. I do love it. Anyways,
Yeah.
No, you go to any gay bar at 1 a.m. And you see a gaggle of men who are a bit older than the regular crowd there.
Scientific term, gaggle.
Gaggle. Yes. They are, what's in the middle of those men and you can't see, is a 5'2" muscular twink.
I really wish that there was a lesbian equivalent. Is there a lesbian equivalent?
Yeah, there is. Hold on, let me think about it. I'm thinking darts tournament.
True.
Thinking sports outing.
Well, and the reason why I want there to be a lesbian alternative is I just want somebody to pay for my lifestyle.
So here's the thing: is there is a lesbian alternative, but it's a more 1-to-1 ratio. But also,
is it fucking somebody's mom?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Also, I feel like, I mean, pre-marriage,
right?
When we would go out and
I thought you meant in general.
Yeah, before marriage existed, Sigmund Freud didn't know what you were going to do with your mom.
Right.
But no, you would be out dancing with women, and then you'd be like, okay, bye, and then be like, do you think that they want to call me? And I was like, I don't think they can.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Even you're so right, because even if I tried to get some kind of a sugar mama situation, it would never work.
I have the same issue. I'm like, I feel like I'm being too presumptuous right now. Like, I even had a guy once before I met Bobby who was like, can I be a sugar daddy? And I was like, he doesn't mean that.
I was telling Caroline, the way that I have justified it in my head is because the question was if, like, now, had we met in a bar, like, would it have all worked out the same?
Right.
And the answer is probably.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I have told her, and this is how I justify it to myself, is I am not the closer. Because I am the one who gets closed on.
Same.
Yes.
Yeah, exact same.
We all have different skills.
And the thing is...
Are we Jesus?
Are we? We have 12 listeners. And listen, we're going to get back to conspiracy theories. But I think what's really important here right now is this topic.
Yes, exactly.
And Bobby... I never would have thought that Bobby was the closer, but very sneakily, he is.
Yeah.
He is a closer. And did I ever tell you about how I screwed myself out of sex on, like, our second date?
No.
Okay, so we went out 4 days in a row. And on the second day, we ended up at a house party after this concert. And we were making out in a stranger's house. And Bobby's, like, doing the thing, like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I read this in Genesis, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm getting an Uber, do you want to come with me? And I was, in my mind, being so funny. And I was like, oh, I don't put out.
I do remember you telling me this.
And... Bobby is such a gentleman. Because in my mind, I'm like, we're literally making out in a third party's house right now. Like, I obviously put out. Yeah. I'm putting out right now. But Bobby was like, ooh, they said they don't put out. They said they don't put out, so I'm going to leave. And then he left, and I was like, wait. Oh, fuck.
But I do put out, but it is.
So, yeah, I told my friend who was there, I was like, I think I fucked up.
You're like, wait, this is not what I wanted. Although it is what I said.
Yes. So good. Bobby is good.
Yeah, so then you went home and painted probably a bunch of angsty photos with your mother's smile?
I put on my wall.
On your wall. Right. That's the last episode.
Yeah.
Right. So we're at 0.5 out of 10.
Yes.
Sigmund Freud is a wild individual.
Yeah. Yeah, just dumb. Like, I think most of psychology has moved on from many of his beliefs.
I think, like, it has to, right?
Yeah.
I get that, like, it's true that, like, your mom, your family, your upbringing is going to have a psychological effect on you, right? Like, nature versus nurture, obviously it's going to be a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
It's going to be the genetics that you are born with and what you're predisposed to, and then how your environment then affects the expression of what is there, right?
You know, I'll say this. Bobby shares a startling number of characteristics with my father.
And I share a startling number of characteristics with Caroline's father.
I could see that.
And also, my mother's name is Caroline. And we're going to move just
Let's go to the next
into
conspiracy
the next
theory.
one. Straight into the next one. Okay, so we are still actually on the Mona Lisa. There are several conspiracy theories about the Mona Lisa.
Okay.
This one is one of my favorites, which is that, do you remember Pablo Picasso?
I do.
Another famous artist.
His face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. Very, very, like, when you say eccentric creative,
That's it.
I think that there was a period of time where Pablo Picasso did not wear shoes. That is not a fact. That's just something that I have in the back of my mind that I think is true.
It feels right, though.
And it may just be that I've gone to shows, I've seen Pablo Picasso's work, and I've seen photographs of Pablo Picasso. Never once is that man wearing shoes.
Yeah, I could see him as someone who doesn't wear shoes. I didn't wear shoes a lot growing up. I was out in the country.
Out in the country.
Out in the country.
Which is fair, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that is a respectable choice not to wear shoes.
If you don't wear shoes in the city, that is how you get all of the hepatitises.
That is also true.
Yeah.
Also, we live in Missouri, which is otherwise known as the swamp state, full of brown recluse spiders. And there are, on occasion, rattlesnakes, so.
And meth.
Also meth, which
Yeah.
you don't want to step on.
No. With an open cut.
Right. Also,
Or you do.
I would like to point out that I am not like a personal fan of Pablo Picasso, the person.
Oh.
Because he was also a bad person.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. In the way that we are going to find out that Leonardo da Vinci is also a bad person.
Okay.
And that is, blanket statement, people under the age of 18/adulthood are children.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why Pablo Picasso is not necessarily a good person. That is actually neither here nor there for this conspiracy theory. This conspiracy theory is that in August of 1911, the painting, the Mona Lisa, was at the Louvre in Paris.
Or the Louvre.
The Louvre. The Louvre.
The Louvre.
And Pablo Picasso was suspected of stealing it. Because it did go missing.
The Mona Lisa?
The Mona Lisa. It was stolen for 2 years. It was returned, or not returned, but it was found in 1913.
Really?
Really?
Wow, okay.
Yes. And so suspicion fell onto Pablo Picasso because, and I did not know this until researching this episode, Pablo Picasso was known for, and had, basically, admitted to it, stealing small artifacts, sculptures, and other small things, small trinkets from museums.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
So,
I want to do the same thing.
yeah. And so that is a fact. Pablo Picasso was, a bit of a klepto.
Okay.
But, specifically art. Which makes sense. He's got a special interest, I would say. And perhaps a career.
Yeah.
In the art
and
field.
listen, I guess art museums are a bit different. But, museums are full of stolen stuff anyway.
That's true.
You're just stealing it some more.
That is true. If we want to get nitpicky about stolen, not stolen, the Mona Lisa was painted in Italy. And
now it's in France.
And now it's in
Which is
Paris,
just, it's
Louvre.
north of Italy.
True.
It's a train ride away.
It's fine. It's what if Paris wanted it more than Rome did,
Yeah. Also, stealing from European countries, fine.
I kind of agree, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Italy did some not so good shit in the later half of the 40s, or the mid 40s, so fuck up, you know what I mean?
I would say early 40s to late 30s, early 40s.
Late 30s, early 40s.
I don't know my world history very well, but that's when I think World War II happened.
It was in the 1940s, like, specifically, but yes.
I think it started in the 30s.
It definitely started in the 30s, yeah.
Until the 40s.
Yeah. So, anyway, Pablo Picasso was suspected of stealing the Mona Lisa, and the evidence that is pointed against Pablo Picasso specifically was there was another man. His name was Joseph Pierret.
Okay.
Which is very French.
Very French.
Who visited the Paris Journal and claimed that he had become, he knew Picasso and was the person that Picasso had admitted to stealing small artifacts from museums too.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that was the first part of it.
Got it.
The second part is that Picasso was part of a group called the Wild Men of Paris during this time, so during like the 1910s, who the police had actually suspected as being a ring of art thieves. So Picasso did in fact like steal small artifacts, but he wasn't alone, and there was a network of art thieves at the time.
And they were known as the Wild Men of Paris.
Right.
Man. And this was in, what, 1913?
This is in 1911.
1911. Was he in London in 1888 or 1891? Because he could also be Jack the Ripper. Okay. So there's that. Yes.
So here's basically the timeline of the stealing of the Mona Lisa.
Gotcha.
So the painting was stolen off the walls of the Louvre in August of 1911. The thief in question was somebody who had gone by the name Vincenzo Perugia. I have to do this.
Vincenzo Perugia.
In order to say it correctly,
to spell.
I think is correct.
The furniture in the other room just started levitating.
Oh shit!
Sorry.
Okay. And then so basically it disappeared. Mm-hmm. So in 1911, it's August, and then we know that it's somebody named Vincenzo because in 1913 there was a deal made.
Okay.
Where this person, Vincenzo, had set up a meeting with the director of the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, during which the painting was presented. So in 1913, at a Florentine art gallery, this painting was revealed, right? So then, I don't like the sound of when she licks herself.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
But now she's like, we're playing?
For everybody watching my right hand, there's a lot going on.
This episode is such a funny one for our first video episode, because I feel like we are so off the rails. That's okay.
We are so off the rails. But 15 episodes in, I feel like this is. I love that we're totally off the rails, and it's not because I believe a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, something new.
But it is because of one of my conspiracy theories that we drank vodka and champagne.
I think the vodka champagne did it.
Vodka champagne did it.
This is from our most off the rails episode for sure.
Yes. So anyway, in Florentine in 1913. The painting resurfaces. Okay. We know that there was a meeting that was set up between Vincenzo and an art dealer. That's how the painting got to this Florentine place where it was revealed.
So Vincenzo made a deal with an art dealer to go to a gallery in Florence.
Correct. Where then it was revealed.
Gotcha.
Now, there was also a component of this theory that, speaking of art being stolen in the first place, that the motivation of the stealing was that they wanted Vincenzo wanted to steal the work so that it would be returned to its native Italy.
Okay.
So that was what the motivation was thought to be. Now, let me get your rating here.
So can you remind me how Vincenzo and Picasso are related? They were both the wild boys of Paris. Is that it?
So Vincenzo is just the name of the suspect.
Okay.
Don't know if that's the real name of the actual person who
Okay.
stole the art. But Picasso is part of the wild
Boys.
boys of Paris. The wild men of Paris,
Wild
right?
men of Paris.
Who did steal art stuff.
And then there's another guy, Vincenzo, who is unrelated?
Unrelated.
Okay. But it could be related.
It could be that Pablo Picasso stole it and gave it to
And gave it to Vincenzo.
Vincenzo.
Or maybe he is Vincenzo.
Or he is Vincenzo. That's the theory.
Okay. So, is Picasso Italian?
From what I understand, no. Picasso is not Italian.
I didn't think he was. Okay, so Pablo Picasso, known art thief.
Literally no.
Literally. That's the biggest takeaway from this for me is not even the conspiracy, but that he fucking definitely on the record stole things from art museums.
Yeah.
So he was in town when it got stolen.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of this known group of people that stole art from museums.
Yep.
I mean, 2 out of 10. I think that's actually probably generous. So, because there's just not a lot to connect the dots. Like, it's the thing I always say, like, we have things on both sides.
Yeah.
But they're just not meeting in the middle.
I think that's fair. I think that there is one component of it that I like, and that is that I think 2 out of 10 is probably a good rating, and I don't feel like it's generous because the thing that makes this fall apart for me is, and to confirm, Pablo Picasso was born in Spain. He did live in France for a majority of his life.
I thought he was Spanish.
Yes, but he is Spanish, and a lot of his work also has to do with being Spanish.
Gotcha.
So this idea that he stole it to give it to somebody, or he stole it and there was this connection to, like, Italian heritage.
Yeah.
That kind of falls apart for me.
Unless he just was, like, into, like, I don't know. I could see, like, him be like, you know what? Like, I believe that you really passionately believe that it belongs in Italy.
And I would say that he gives me that vibe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think 2 out of 10 is fair for this one, because he was, like, Pablo Picasso was, I don't want to say like a protester, but he was somebody who was on the side of, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna steal shit from museums. He was on the side of, this is what the atrocities of war look like, right? Yeah. And some of his most famous paintings are about that. So I'm like, I could see it.
I think it's a big jump, though, in the quality of thing you're stealing or the importance of thing. Mm-hmm. Like small figurines, things like that. It sounds like
but
there's all very small
Mona Lisa is not that big. The Mona Lisa is not that big.
Pretty important, I would say.
It's true. It's true.
But I imagine security measures back then were just like a couple of dudes with nightsticks.
And like a lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here's where that theory really falls apart, and we're going to probably move down past 2.
Okay.
And that is the person who did steal the painting. So this Vincenzo, which I do not know if Vincenzo was in fact the perpetrator's real name or like a pseudonym, an alias of some kind. But they posed as a handyman or like a carpenter who had been commissioned to put the Mona Lisa behind glass. So that was their way to steal it.
He very likely didn't need the assistance of the wild men of.
That is how I read this. That's how I take it.
Though I guess to get that job, you need some sort of references.
You could.
And so maybe
some connection to the art world.
If you
know Picasso.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very affluent, obviously, in France, in Paris.
Yeah, I assume at this point still kind of well known artist.
Yeah. Pablo Picasso at this point was only 20.
Oh, so maybe not well-known artist, but he was still in the art world.
30.
I would assume.
He was 30. Yes, he was very well known. Pablo Picasso was famous from a very young age all throughout his life.
So I guess, yeah, like, it doesn't make it more plausible that it was Picasso, but I'm not positive that it makes it less plausible that he didn't have some sort of hand in it.
Well, it's like how do you rate it if you think, so what if I said, and this is not true, this is Maddie's conspiracy hat fully on.
Got it.
What if Pablo Picasso actually had nothing to do with the robbery, like nothing to do with the theft of the Mona Lisa, but knew about it? Like, was so connected.
I think that that's extremely plausible.
Yeah.
In my mind. I think that, I think that he, ran with art thieves. He was very connected in the art world. I think that it's not a big jump in my mind.
To think that, there was some awareness. So then, I mean, if that's the case, if that's how we're rating it, and how small... I mean, I get that Paris is like a big city, but in 1911, and Pablo Picasso, he's 30, he's been famous now for a decade, and there's this wild, wild west, like, appeal of Paris.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3 out of 10 on this one, honestly.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay at 2 out of 10, but 3 also makes sense to me. Yeah.
Okay. So... now that we've gotten that out of the way, we have 2 more conspiracy theories that are left just about the Mona Lisa.
Got it.
And these 2 are Pride Month exclusives.
Hell yeah.
So.
Gay shit.
Gay shit. The next conspiracy theory is that Mona Lisa, and tell me if you have heard of this before, is that Mona Lisa is in fact a self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci as a woman.
I don't remember this, but it sounds so familiar that maybe I have heard of it and forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like I've heard of it before.
Now, the thing that makes that interesting to me, before I even, get into the conspiracy theory, is that, I fully understand being eccentric, and I fully understand being creative. I also fully understand being, ego-centric.
Yeah.
But to carry the painting around, if it's a self-portrait, for years...
of you in drag.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That's... a lot.
That's a level of drag that I've actually not yet witnessed.
Yeah, it's I can't, I'm just going through my head of all the drag queens I know that think that they would do that, and no.
I don't
I know a drag queen that has a purse that has just her face printed on it. Mm-hmm. She carries that around.
That's the closest. That's the closest I could think of to this situation.
Yeah.
So, now... to state, it is widely believed that this woman who is painted was in fact a real person, just a regular person. She was,
her name was Lisa.
Her name was Lisa.
She moaned.
She
was a moaner.
Her name was Lisa Gherardini. And she was the wife of Francisco del Giocondo. And otherwise was literally just a regular woman who sat for a portrait.
Okay.
But that doesn't seem like enough, right?
No, I think that Francisco de la Berna's wife was actually Leonardo da Vinci in drag.
Leonardo da Vinci in drag!
I think that both of these things are true, that he went by Lisa, I want to say Ghirardelli. Gherardini. Lisa Gherardini, in his marriage, but it was just him with just a hard front wig on.
Yeah.
Not even lace front.
Well, here's what I'll say about not even the lace front or a hard front is that Mona Lisa's got a lot of forehead happening here.
She's got a 5 head.
It's a lot of forehead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the thought is that is widely accepted because it is the simplest of answers, is that this was a portrait of a person.
It's widely accepted because it's probably the truth. But yeah.
For the purposes of this podcast.
But let's get that out of the way. Let's just forget about that for a second.
Okay, there are ideas that it is in fact a self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci as a woman, which I find particularly interesting because there is sufficient evidence to suggest that Leonardo da Vinci was not heterosexual.
I mean, I don't even need to hear it. Like, I believe it, but I will hear if there's any.
So, first of all, I will point out that gender identity and sexuality are two very different things.
Absolutely.
That being said, because there is this idea or sufficient evidence to suggest that Leonardo da Vinci was not a fully heterosexual individual, it does lend me, I suppose, closer to like believing that there could be some gender expression.
Sure.
Like play there,
so
right?
He's queer.
Yes.
On some level queer.
On some level queer.
There definitely wasn't the verbiage for it back then either.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something that sort of like colors my view when looking at this.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that people have done is they have taken self-portraits of Mona Lisa and then a self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci, and not a self-portrait of Mona Lisa, but the portrait of Mona Lisa, and then overlaid or like done half and half.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So like Da Vinci and then Mona Lisa on the other side. And the two do line up perfectly.
Okay.
And I can show you,
yeah,
looking at this here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot that does line up there. I think the nose is like a little off, but...
Just a little.
Just a little.
Right.
And it could be... Those are also two very different mediums that we're looking at, but yeah.
Yeah. And so we don't have like a painted portrait of, or a self-portrait of Da Vinci in the same, like you said, in the same style as Mona Lisa. But the two do seem to line up, at least in the way that their faces are symmetrical to each other. So that is points in the positive for this theory.
Sorry. I'm having some Zulon-related challenges.
Eventually Azulon will make an appearance, and it'll just be, for anybody listening.
He's been in this entire episode, just right off camera.
Yes. Yeah. He is. I feel like I should go ahead and state I have 3 pets: Zuko, Azulon, and Chloe.
Yeah.
Find them.
Yeah. Chloe's easy to spot.
Yeah.
Zuko, you heard. I want to say last episode.
No, the episode before. Going.
Azulon will knock over the camera, and that will be how...
Azulon's presence is silent, but like us reacting. So like Azulon is silent, but it's...
He's like silent chaos.
Yes.
What he is.
It's like he causes you to be like you to get distracted or be like, what the fuck? Or he'll hurt you. Yeah.
He was licking my leg for like 5 minutes straight, and I was just like...
He's back. He heard his name. My cats are also smart. Both of them do know their name. They do come when you call them, if they want to, which is most of the time. I would say 90% recall.
They're very social.
Yes.
Anyways,
so like I said, we have a point in the category that these 2 images do line up. The other point on this category is there was like programs that have been run. So so there was another artist, Lillian Schwartz, who have used computer programs to find like similarities between the two. So again, to define those similarities between facial features.
Okay.
Now, where this one thing that we talk about a lot with conspiracy theories is like, we'll just like go get Leonardo da Vinci's like bones and like reconstruct his face and then like figure it out. You know what I mean?
Do it.
Apparently, that was something that was going to happen, but it never actually did. Mm-hmm. And I learned throughout this that Leonardo da Vinci's remains are not actually fully confirmed to be his remains.
That's interesting.
So Leonardo da Vinci died in 1519. Let me double check. Leonardo da Vinci died in 1519 and was buried at a church, but then that church was eventually demolished.
Okay.
And so then any kind of grave marking or anything that came with, like, knowing that
demolished the church that Da Vinci was buried in?
Fully got rid of it.
You gotta put some condos in.
Yeah. And so eventually the remains, like, within the church and, like, everything else have been, like, exhumed and examined. And so they believe that we have Leonardo da Vinci's remains, but, like, it's not 100%. So even if we were to get that...
So you still couldn't, yeah.
You still wouldn't necessarily be able to go back to the Mona Lisa and definitively
It's one of those things that there's no way to definitively prove or disprove this.
Yes.
Okay. Is there more evidence? Or is it?
There is no more evidence.
So I think that to me, it's not a stretch that he was queer. Mm-hmm. However, I don't know. I feel like the fact that this was based off of a real person is kind of like a point against that, because I feel like maybe somebody would have been like, hey, that doesn't look at all like her. That actually looks like you in a wig.
But, like, who... But here's my question is, at the time, this is the late 1400s, early 1500s.
Yeah, but I imagine she was some sort of nobility, right?
Like a merchant's wife.
Oh.
Like, not anybody, like nobody, who's writing this down? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, and then the lining uppy thing is interesting, but I think you'd be surprised how many times faces can just line up.
Fair enough. Turns out we are all, in fact, people.
Yeah. I mean, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, let me bring us to our last conspiracy theory then.
Wait, what's your rating on that one?
My rating on that one is... I'm also going to go 3 out of 10.
Yeah. It's kind of a difficult one, right?
It's difficult. It's like... When I say, like, it's so egotistical to then carry around the painting with you for forever.
I don't think there's a non-egotistical reason for that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not Da Vinci.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, let's say that you are, like, exploring your gender later in life, and this is really, like, gender affirming to you. I could see it as that in and of itself, but I could also see it as, like a proof of genius, I guess, right? Because Da Vinci is not cross-dressing. Like, there isn't evidence to suggest that Da Vinci was a cross-dressing individual.
Yeah.
And I only say that term for, like, what it would have been called at the time. But there's, like... Yeah, there's no suggesting that, like, Da Vinci was known for, like, being in drag.
Yeah.
But through the power of mind, he could have painted himself as a woman. I might carry that around and be like, look what I could do. With my brain.
Look, this is me at the one.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have been a hit at parties. Yeah, okay. I mean, I feel like, 3 out of 10 is as plausible as it is with as little evidence as can possibly be provided is the problem.
Fair enough.
It's not like there have been some really implausible conspiracy theories presented in this show. Mm-hmm. That's like all the evidence is stupid.
Yeah.
But in this, like, it's just not enough evidence that is going to be available.
Well, and I think that that's the thing, because, like, the Mona Lisa sparks, like, a lot of our other conspiracy theories do, where the reality of the situation is we don't have enough information to be satisfied.
Right.
but we also don't have enough information to make, like, satisfying speculation as well. Because I think the reality of Mona Lisa just being a person, and for whatever reason, Leonardo da Vinci just being, like, really into this painting, just, it feels odd.
Do you feel like her husband was probably like, hey man, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on between you and my wife? Like,
yeah. Especially when, and I did not research this, but I would be curious to know if there were other, like, if there were other paintings of, because from what I understand of the Mona Lisa theory, is that this painting was, if that is the case, it would have been a commissioned painting. And then Leonardo da Vinci would have just been like, just kidding, I'm keeping it. Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
Not only am I keeping it, it's staying on my person.
At all times. Which is, like, for all of the things, I think that it's hard in, like, modern day to be like, for all of the things that da Vinci did, like, flying machines, like, human anatomy, like, sketchbooks on sketchbooks of all of this different stuff, that it's like, this, like, why this?
You know, I'll give you...
If you weren't in love with your mom, why did you do this?
Just a sneak peek on an episode that I'm putting together for sometime in the future. So I'm doing an Ancient Aliens episode.
Yes.
And one of the things that it hits on is, like, did he get his designs...
From aliens?
From aliens.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah.
The conspiracy theories never end?
Yeah, there's so many... Well, the thing about Ancient Aliens is that it's a show that went on forever. So the problem is narrowing it down to the actual... They call it the ancient astronaut theory. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about here today, though.
I love it. I'm so excited. And believe it or not, none of the theories, and the last one that I'm about to present, none of them have to do with aliens.
That's so sad.
And I know that we say it in a lot of episodes, like, somehow this wasn't aliens. But it just feels like a good explanation for a lot of things.
Yeah. So many things can be aliens.
Yeah. But there's so many conspiracy theories about Leonardo da Vinci. I even found some, I found some about Michelangelo. Like, there's so many conspiracy theories that really just narrowing it down for this episode, we just started here, and I think that eventually... we'll get to the others. And I didn't even look at his inventions. I'm just, like, fully looking at these pieces of art. And so before I start with this one, let's go to bring it all the way back to the top of the episode. There is a small conspiracy theory about the Last Supper.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was not started, but it really, like, gained a lot of popularity because of Dan Brown.
Yeah.
And that is that in the Da Vinci Code, that there is a secret message that's hidden in the Last Supper, and it begins with the person on the right of Jesus.
Oh, that's woman?
Is Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene.
Yes. Which it does connect back to Michelangelo, because there is a conspiracy. There is a sculpture of, and I forget the name of the sculpture, but it is Mary holding Jesus after being taken off of the crucifix. And the conspiracy theory is that is not Mary, like the Virgin Mary. That is Mary Magdalene.
It's Mary Smith. Different Mary.
Just a different Mary. But,
she was around.
Mary. All women at the time were named Mary.
There was a Mary Smith, and her job, she volunteered every Friday, I guess.
Right. There's actually another Mary Smith who worked at the same grocer at Sigmund Freud.
Sigmund Freud.
Right.
Yeah, it was his first employee, actually. It was Mary Smith. But this Mary Smith, she volunteered to go take people off of their crucifixes. every Friday, she would just go and poke them, like, all right, this one's dead,
and just pull him off and, like, hold him.
Yeah,
that's what she did.
Yeah, that's it. That was that Mary.
Right. Now, the only thing is that there isn't really any evidence to suggest that is the case, other than the person who is to the right in Da Vinci's The Last Supper is incredibly effeminate.
Now, so this is something that I'm pulling this knowledge out of some memory. And if it's a Dan Brown book, I'm going to kill myself. But,
yeah, I've read a lot of them.
But I don't think it is. I think this is an actual fact. Da Vinci liked to paint young men very effeminately.
Yes. And we're actually going to get to that next.
Okay,
as our last Mona Lisa one. So, you are thinking correctly.
Yeah.
But before I move on, we just got to give it to Dan Brown. What's your rating on the Last Supper?
That was actually Mary Magdalene?
Yes.
So, okay, here's the thing. I got to separate this from the rest of the Da Vinci. So, do I believe that that is like a clue left behind, map on the back of Declaration of Independence style? No. But I could see there were several instances of Renaissance era painters and artists who the biggest way to make any money at that time was through the church, but they found little ways to stick it to the church, and so would I be surprised if that was Da Vinci's way of kind of just sticking it to the church? Because I don't really see him as somebody who was very involved with the church or very into the church. I could see that. I could see him being like, yeah, I can draw a bunch of women though. Like, that's, there's a lot of like little hidden messages in the Sistine Chapel, just things like that, which obviously that was not Da Vinci. But, so I guess, 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 maybe. Like, it could go either way. Like, do I believe that he was trying to tell us that was Mary Magdalene, Jesus' wife?
Or was he just trying to tell us that Jesus was gay?
Or was he just painting women where men should be?
Or was he just painting
his
men
mom?
very effeminately?
Was he painting his mom right next to Jesus?
I have to go back, and I know that I gave it a 0.27 out of 10.
Yeah.
But now, what if it's just his mom?
What if it's just his mom? It's been his mom the whole time.
The whole time.
The illustrated man, his mom. The flying machine, his mom.
Totally his mom. He gets all of his ideas from his mom.
From his mom.
And the sexual repression. Moving on.
If only he got to fuck his mom,
But if he did, would we
wouldn't have the art that we have today if Da Vinci got to fuck his mom.
Would Picasso have gotten the chance to steal the Mona Lisa from the Louvre?
Yeah. Would Sigmund Freud have been able to open that grocery store?
There's no way of knowing. There's no way to know. Okay. So I think that's fair. I do think that if you were to Google The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, I do think it's meant to be Apostle John is what is known.
Like his favorite apostle, which, by the way, is mentioned in the Gospel of John. So I feel like...
Probably.
It's like, I was his favorite, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here's what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me that Jesus, who looks like a twink, acts like a twink,
yes,
has a favorite John, who is painted by Da Vinci, who could have been there very effeminately.
I like in this version of things, it's not his like favorite apostle, it's just his favorite John. This is, I know a lot of Johns.
And
There's John the Baptist, John the Apostle.
Yep.
That's it. But you're my favorite John.
There were only Johns. Just like how every woman was named Mary, there's just
Marys and Johns.
Right, exactly. And then when John and Jesus were not getting together, then there were other apostles. You know what I mean? There was Judas, which is almost John.
And Judas got jealous. Anyways, we're making our own conspiracy theories.
We are indeed.
Did we rate this one?
You said a 4 or a 5 out of 10. I am going to give it a 2 out of 10. I am going to say that Leonardo da Vinci's style was more effeminate when it came to men, but I am also going to say that for like all of human history, and now hopefully swinging back to it, there really isn't that big of a difference, if any, between men and women, and you could be either or both at any moment in time. Yeah. So, and what I mean by that is to say, like, I think that painting John with having like long hair and a thin frame, the way that we read that as effeminate now is not necessarily effeminate. That just is a person who looked like that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And also, like, noblemen during the Renaissance time, which would have been Da Vinci's sort of, like, inspiration. Pretty effeminate looking.
Pretty effeminate looking.
They wore makeup.
And, like silk.
And shit.
And,
yeah.
Yeah. All the stuff that we would say now is... Effeminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go like 2 out of 10 on that one.
Okay.
Because I do think that Da Vinci was also Da Vinci was very like well cared for in the way of like sponsors, in the way of like like people paid his way. So I don't think like Michelangelo was kind of a rebel. Mm-hmm. I don't think Da Vinci was the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At least insofar as I understand.
Yeah, that's going to be our take on things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on from the Last Supper, we'll get into our last and final. And that is that the Mona Lisa is actually Leonardo da Vinci's good friend and suspected lover, Giacomo Caproti. Giacomo Caproti.
Okay. How could you not love a good Gian?
A good Gian. Now, Gian was also, at least for a short time, Gian died at 40, but was a apprentice to Leonardo.
Mm.
And and sufficient evidence that they were lovers.
Okay.
Leonardo did make journal entries about Gian, called him Soli, which is basically little devil, translates to.
That's the cutest pet name.
It is a little cute. Now, where this gets sinister is, I don't know, haven't done the math, but there is, at the very least, a significant age gap between these two individuals.
All right, more like Leonardo DiCaprio, am I right?
Yeah. And insofar that this may have been a crime.
Oh no.
Yeah. So not ideal.
It's very Call Me by Your Name.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Yeah. Listen, Call Me by Your Name was a crime.
Was a crime? Wait.
Anyways, go on.
Okay.
There's a 27-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Oh, he's 17?
He's 17.
Okay, that's a crime. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't know that. So let's say similar situation here. Yeah. So this is potentially a crime.
Yes.
Okay. So we know that Leonardo da Vinci wrote about Gian quite a bit. Mm-hmm. We know that Gian was somebody who was known to dress in drag.
Really?
We know that Gian was, to say the word effeminate again, effeminate. Mm-hmm. So somebody who was male or masculine, but had very, effeminate or very feminine features, or, a way of being. And Da Vinci had painted Gian in this style, in this manner of somebody who would look more feminine, right? Mm-hmm. And so there is a belief that because there was this regular dress as a woman that Gian was doing, and they were lovers, that it could actually bridge all of the gaps that we've talked about so far. So they were lovers. Leonardo da Vinci carried around this painting for a long time. Gian was known for and has been documented as somebody who would dress as a woman.
Got it.
And there are, like we have talked about before, similarities between the two in facial structure, if we were to compare paintings. So I will show you yet another painting similarity.
Got it.
And so you can see here, there's the Mona Lisa, and then there is Gian.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Also, Guillaume's hot.
Guillaume's kind of hot. Depending on how old they are in this photo.
Guillaume is 20 in that picture.
Uh-huh. Yes.
No, that's very similar.
Like, the eyes are very similar. The mouth is very similar.
Yeah.
Even the hands are very similar. So, like, like, if you were to look up the Mona Lisa, it's very soft. And then if you were to look up this photos of, I would search Solai or Gian Caproti, but you would see, again, similar structure in their hands, sort of soft, very round edges, pretty structured cheekbones, and this soft smile.
You know, so here's the thing that's holding me back, is, again, he's saying it's this Lisa Germinati.
Caproti. No, I'm sorry,
Lisa
Ghirardelli. Yeah,
no,
Lisa Ghirardelli.
No, that's not right. Ghirardelli is the chocolate. It's something that sounds like a pasta dish. Anyways.
Gherardini.
Mm-hmm. If he's saying it's Lisa Gherardini, which maybe it is just as a cover, but that's the thing that I feel like is holding me back. Other than that, I don't know, like maybe 3 out of 10.
Maybe 3 out of 10. Okay, well, this I find very, very interesting. Does it impact your score if I say that this theory in particular is supported by the head of the National Committee for Cultural Heritage, Silvano Vincetti?
Yes.
It does impact?
That does impact it. Probably going to say 3 out of 10. But that's interesting. They do look very similar. I could see it happening. Da Vinci liked to paint men very effeminately anyway. This is a man who likes to be in drag, this Gian. However, yeah, I mean 3 out of 10. I could see it going either way. Actually, I guess maybe 5 out of 10 because I could see it going either way.
5 out of 10 seeing it going either way?
Yeah.
Something about this one really grasps me to it, or like I find myself grasping, or like
you connect with it. Yeah.
I connect with this one. I do feel like the similarities here are striking. I think that the similarities here are much more striking than like it being a self-portrait of Da Vinci.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
I do also find it interesting because we have like documented evidence that Da Vinci wrote about this man for years, right? Like there's sufficient evidence to suggest that there was a very intimate relationship here, and while I do believe, given Guion's age, that is 100% a crime, do I think that some creepy old man would keep a picture?
Yeah, keep the picture with him
like all of the time.
Yeah, I didn't consider that.
You know what I mean?
I think that this one holds water. It really does.
Yeah. And so for that reason, gut feeling, I keep waffling like in my head about it, but I'm going to go gut feeling. I think I might actually push it up to a 6 out of 10.
You know what? I kind of agree.
Because this is the other thing, is like we've kind of talked about it, like there's some, like it is suspicious. If there's enough suspicion around it that we're even talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, why did you keep it?
Why did you keep it?
And if it was commissioned to you...
Why did you keep it?
Why did you keep it?
And not only why did you keep it, why did you keep it on your person?
Why did you keep it on your person? If this is just some random, like, merchant family who you don't even know, why does this matter? Why is this the piece that you find that is so artistically genius that you're going to keep it with you?
I would say it's not even the most genius thing that he did.
That, frankly. Right? And it's like, if like, looking at it from, like, your own opinion of your work...
Yeah.
Why would this one be the one that was pointed out?
You know, it makes sense if it was like a lover, especially one that died a fairly early death. Died at 40.
No, there's a 20-year age gap between the two of them. Gian did die in... Gian died, I can tell you, in a moment.
Wouldn't it be crazy if he didn't?
He just never died.
Gian is joining us today.
Gian died in 1524. So Gian died after Leonardo da Vinci, but he was 20 years younger than da Vinci.
Okay. Well, gosh, yeah, I'd say 6 out of 10 makes sense for me.
Goodness, 28 years younger than da Vinci.
Woof.
So, first of all, Leonardo da Vinci, let's say if any of these theories that hold any water, that Leonardo da Vinci was intimately involved with Gian, it is very likely that was 100% a crime.
Yeah. Not okay.
And fuck Leonardo da Vinci. But does that mean that criminals keep, I don't know, trophies, things?
Well, it fucked up, right? Fucked up romance. However, if the feelings were strong enough, for him to, like, hold on. I could see, okay. If the feelings were strong enough from Da Vinci, he would hold on to this painting, right?
That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. And so the head of the National Committee for Cultural Heritage has found similar similarities. There's similar similarities in between the two paintings when comparing them with infrared scans. Now, but people also find similarities between this and that with infrared scans. That doesn't really affect my rating.
And it is two Da Vinci paintings.
Right.
You would expect some similarities.
Right. But this one, I don't know. This one holds some water to me, so
I feel like 6 out of 10 also, like, yeah, it feels very plausible.
Yeah.
There's just not enough real evidence.
Yeah, to, like, push you into, like, this is, like, a legitimate thing that could have happened. Yeah. It's just, like, it's a little bit more than 50-50.
I'm leaning more. Yeah.
So that will bring us to the end of our art conspiracies for now.
I really have enjoyed this foray into the art world.
Yeah. And there are so many more. We're going to divest from them.
And then come back to them. Perfect.
Yes.
Well, if you guys want to tell us your favorite art-related conspiracy theories or non-art-related conspiracy theories, you can email us at who'sfundingthispodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us at who'sfundingthispodcast. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. That's it.
And now we're on YouTube, actually.
Oh, and we're on YouTube. Yes.
Because this is the thing. This
is the first video of ours on YouTube, but we're there at Who's Funding This Podcast.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
Where videos are on the internet.
Well, and we're going to be soon on YouTube Music because that's what Google Podcasts is turning into.
Nice.
Yeah.
We love America's 7 companies.
But yeah, just let us know what you think of this episode. Let us know what you think of any episodes. Rate us 5 stars on whatever you're listening to.
Tell us if you also believe that Jesus was a power bottom.
Tell us if you believe... I don't know where it's going to go.
Just tell us what you believed.
Try some vodka and champagne and tell us how terrible you thought it was.
And we will see you in the next one. This has been Who's Funding This Podcast. Tell your friends. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.